Mike Fields will be speaking first. He is active in advocacy in Houston County politics. He and his wife were in a 3-year legal battle with the county about a mining issue that went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Not our
State.
choice. Yeah.
State. Not by your choice.
I do. Yep. Mike Fields. My wife and I own a small farm in the southern part of Houston County. It's her family farm, so we represent the second generation that lives there. Been coming down from the cities. We met high-rise office building in Minneapolis, but anyway, coming down since 1990, and when her mother passed away, we bought the farm in 2004. Shortly after that, a mine adjacent to our property that had been dormant for about 20 years at least began operation. And probably around 2010, 2011, it got big, and our attention was drawn to it really from the blasting. And there were, after one explosion, and we saw boulders and clay hurtling over the tree line and landing on our tillable acreage, figured we should go take a look, see what's going on. If they're doing that wrong, what else are they doing wrong? So I went down there, checked around, and Diane, my wife, was pretty sure that they were a little too close to our fence line. And that's when we found out that they had violated the setback. There was supposed to be a 50-foot setback that had eaten into it more than halfway, so it wasn't exactly an oops. So we turned to the county for help. And then the county turned on us. And that's how we ended up going to the Supreme Court. We filed a complaint with Environmental Services. Bob Scanlon, who some of you may have read about, came down to look and said, yep, sure enough, they violated your setback, and I'll send them a letter. And so he sent the letter to Skyline Materials out of Decorah, Iowa. And he gave them an option that was not available in the ordinance, and that option was to apply to the Board of Adjustment for an after-the-fact variance.
Oh my God.
And so when he told us that that was one of their options as we were trudging back up to the house after inspecting, and my brother-in-law, who's an attorney, was also with us. And then when Scanlon mentioned the after-the-fact variance, we all laughed. After-the-fact variance, it's ridiculous. Well, the joke was on us. They were serious. They went to the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment duly gave them their after-the-fact variance, because in Houston County, miners are protected from farmers. It's not the other way around. So we were unhappy with that and filed a complaint in district court. And in that complaint, we were going to get to the whole basis of what was going on at Houston County, the fact that the ordinance is interpreted creatively, selectively, the fact that this mine didn't even have a permit and gets county contracts on a regular basis. Didn't have a permit, didn't have a reclamation plan, hadn't posted a bond, there was no operation plan, they hadn't done anything that was specified in the ordinance. So we were going to bring all that up in district court. And then that's when the county really went to bat for this mining company. And they, through some technicality in the manner in which we filed our complaint, they completely derailed our effort. And so now we had to fight this other battle, the battle over who gets served. Who was supposed to receive this complaint? We figured the county attorney, right? Well, no. 3 years later, $15,000 later, the state Supreme Court said, no, you have to also serve the auditor. And so that was the whole trip to the Supreme Court. But the reason the county did that was to keep us out of district court and keep us from raising these issues. And they succeeded in doing that because the case was dismissed with prejudice. That means we couldn't talk about any of these issues that we wanted to bring up in court. Can't talk about it in court, I can talk about it here though. Anyway, this segment is called Choosing Your Battles. So I probably safe to say that for everyone here, you didn't choose the battle, it chose you. Whether you have an illegally operating mine going on next door, or just a basic sense of moral outrage over the idea that people would even want to frac sand mine and inflict all this on their neighbors and community. But since this is called Choosing Your Battles, okay, how do you choose your battles? Well, a lot of them are chosen for you. A lot of them are chosen by the calendar that's coming up. And a lot of your battles are chosen by your opponents, what they choose to advance or not. But, you know, you don't have to be a leaf blown at the mercy of the wind. And in Houston County, we've succeeded, I use that word arguably, to a point in forcing our opponents to choose their battles by forcing them to basically dance to our tune. We've had filed the ethics complaints against various employees. We filed information requests because, at least in Houston County, they're not very forthcoming in answering questions. And then you can organize media events, public forums, news releases, and then there's legal options, like writs of mandamus. I think we tried that once. Then there are interventions. I know some Houston County protectors acted as what are called interveners in the Erickson mine case a few years ago. And then there's, you know, your basic lawsuit, like my wife and I tried to do in district court. But, you know, I believe that if we had our problem now, because of the civic involvement and the organization that's grown up in Houston County over the past few years, the general awareness of the citizens in the county that, you know, they may not know all the details, but, you know, a lot of people are getting the feeling that, you know, something just ain't right here with this county government. I believe that the outcome would have been completely different. But when my wife and I were doing that, you know, I really hadn't even heard of frac sand. I'd heard of fracking, I didn't know that it involved sand. And so as this court thing developed over the years, ran into the Houston County protectors, found out about how they use sand. Oh, and the sand comes from here. They want to come and dig this county up. I knew, you know, because I saw the frac sand. I mean, sand is sand, right? This sand just looked a little prettier than the other sand, as far as I knew. But then I got involved with Houston County protectors, you know, got an education, found out their actual health risks, and then I knew the dismal state of enforcement in Houston County, and I knew we could not let this happen here because it would just run rampant. So that was the battle I chose. I think there probably. Okay, I came here basically to find some things out because in Houston County we're sort of flummoxed. We've done all the right things. Over the years we did the public education. We had the forums where people would come. We had Kristen Pierce even spoke at one of them. We had experts, economists, doctors, you know, you name it. We had like a whole series of educational forums. Got them covered by the media. Had lots of, been in the press for a long time. We did the public education. We won the battle of public opinion. Public opinion is overwhelmingly, you know, I think the number that always gets tossed out is like 90% of the people in Houston County don't want frac sand mining. And it looked like we were gonna achieve that goal a few months ago. It culminated with this massive outpouring, massive for a small county like that, when like 200 or 300 people showed up at the public hearing to let the commissioners know what was on their minds. And it really looked at that point, I mean, even some of the news stories at the time were basically proclaiming victory. And then a week or two later, it was no. So I'm at a loss, and if someone can help me figure out which battles we can fight, much less, pick at this point, I'd be pretty grateful. But, we have a unique situation in Houston County where we've done all the right things, did all the organizing, got all of the media play, and won the battle of public opinions, but there's still 3 commissioners who just say no. And it's about all I can say on the subject of choosing your battles. Be careful.